Hello, everybody. Welcome to the studio this evening. We're going to have some fun painting this guy over here, what I'm calling an ostricycle. I don't know. I just want to have fun with it. I like having fun. I like enjoying the paintings that I do, ones that make me laugh, make me want to paint them more. This one makes me laugh. I think we're going to have a great time painting this. So let's just jump right in. Oh, I guess first of all, let's talk about a few things. The brushes I'm going to use. There we go. Are my King Art brushes. There you can see them there. The paints that I have on my right-hand side are my M. Graham paints. I'm not sure what paper I have. This is a high quality, feels like a very high quality paper. Maybe a Fabriano paper. It doesn't have a watermark, and I think I got it at a garage sale one weekend, so I'm not exactly sure what that is. Up above me that way, I've got my rinse water. I've got some, well, I guess they're over here. I've got some paper towels over on my left hand side. With that, I am ready to roll. I am going to start by mixing up a little color here. I do have a little bit of this white gouache from last week. I'm going to use a little bit of that and mix up, just a light tan in here. Maybe a little bit of this burnt umber, a little bit of this yellow ochre, something just to make a lighter color. And that's going to be the head and neck of this ostrich, or this is going to be the base of the head and the neck of this ostrich. Of course, we're going to have to do some shading on this, but I'm going to get some color on here, and I'm going wet on dry to start. Always a bit of a danger with some paper that you don't know exactly what you've got, but I'm going to live a little bit dangerously and hope for the best. I know I've used this. I know I have used this paper before. I just can't remember what it is. Regardless, we're going to use it now, and we're going to make it work for us. And I think I'm not using any staining colors. I'm using some non-staining, some granulating colors here, and I can pull this pretty much all the way down his neck without worrying about it leaving a tide line. If this were, a bit of the phthalos, anything in that phthalo range, I'd be extremely worried that it would leave a hard edge, and I'd be out of luck trying to figure out what to do with it. I think we can figure this out. Actually, the water is staying quite nicely on this page, even in the little area I'm working in right here. So I think we're going to be okay with using this. I'm not starting with a background. I don't always like to start with a background. I do, for a lot of the work I do, the backgrounds are kind of secondary to what I do. That's going to be the case today. The background is going to definitely be a secondary item that we'll put on here when we're done. I want to get a little bit of gray underneath here. I want to gray this up just a little bit in some of these more shadowy areas in here. I just want to start to get a little bit of shading on the side of the neck of this. I want to do it when it's wet. That way the water is going to do the vast majority of the work for me. I can get away with doing almost nothing, and it looks better than if I have to do it myself. So we got that little bit of the neck there. Cool. Actually, I do think that's pretty cool. What I want to jump to next, I want to work on a piece of this ostrich that is not contiguous to this. So I'm going to jump over here, and I'm going to do the feathers on the back side of this bird. And for this, I'm going to do a bit of just burnt umber, and darken it with a little bit of sepia in there. And I'm going to turn my page. I turn my page a lot. When we really need to darken this color up, we'll come back in here for quite a bit of sepia. I'm looking up. There's a couple of people here. It shows on my screen. Anybody who's here, feel free to say hello. I love having people in on the stream. I love talking with people while I'm painting. Get to throw around some ideas, get some understanding what people like. Talk about different techniques, some that maybe I've done, maybe some that maybe I haven't done. I don't know. But I do very much like talking with people while I do this. So if you have an inclination, throw a hello out there, ask a question. I say every week, if you don't ask questions, you're going to end up listening to me talk until the painting is done. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's not good. So if you ask questions, I'll take some time and answer your questions and talk about the things that you find interesting. And if there is, like I said, if there are no questions in there, then that's okay too. I'm happy to talk the entire time while I'm painting. I do it quite a lot. I do it on my streams. I do it when I'm here by myself, kind of on the weekend, sitting down and doing a painting. So you've asked most of my friends, they'll tell you I pretty much just talk to myself all day long anyways. So this will just be an extension of that for me, which is all good. Just painting in a few tail feathers here. I don't even really have these drawn in specifically as tail feathers. I just have a bit of a line in here. A squiggly line where I know there are going to be some feathers. And when I put them in, they're gonna look like feathers. If I turn it up back over this way, it'll probably look like some feathers in here without having done a whole lot. Now, I just painting in a spot I didn't want to paint. I'm going to see if I can pull this out real fast. I went out of the lines. I don't like going out of the lines. I don't mind going out of the lines, quite honestly, but I don't always like going out of the lines. There we go. And I'm just trying to block in a little bit of color. I'd come back in here and make this a little darker. I took a little too long. I've got a little dry on me. I can't go back in. I can't go back in here. Still just a little damp. I should say, it's pretty warm in the studio this evening. We got to be getting close to 80 degrees in here. I'm not sure why it's so warm in the studio. Outside, it's maybe 65. In here, somehow, all the heat got trapped in here, and it's pretty warm. But we're going to get by with it. We will get by. Now, I want to make a little bit of kind of a fleshy tone color. Actually, I want to take a look at this. Let me grab a scrap sheet of paper from somewhere. Where do I have a scrap sheet of paper? Oh. Right here. And I want to see if I put a little bit Payne's gray into kind of my fleshy color. Do I get just a dull color, or do I get a more of a gray skin tone? And it looks to me as though I'm not going to get the skin tone I want. It's going to end up, believe it or not, look, looks like it ends up a little bit green. I'd rather it not be kind of that greenish color. So I don't want to do that. I'm much more willing to let this be a pinky flesh tone. I got a couple other people coming in here, and I should say once again, we are on Twitch tonight. Anybody who's joined over on the Twitch side, again, feel free to say hello. I do like talking to people. I do like answering questions. It's a little different over there because any YouTube chat won't go that way, but all Twitch chat comes this way. I say that my primary channel is YouTube. That's why I say it that way. But it'll pop up over here, so please reach out, say hello if you're there, and I will answer your questions right away. Maybe if you can, if you got the patience, give me a little chance to check things out on my own. I am a one-man show here, and sometimes I get a little distracted with the painting and don't pay full attention to what's going on the screen above me. But one way or another, we're going to paint something that looks fantastic here. We're going to have a good time doing it. See my numbers going up and down, up and down, up and down. I am here every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Pacific. That's when I like to stream. It works out for me. Hopefully it works out for you all. If it doesn't, I apologize for that, but I've had people here at different times from as far away as Australia, Great Britain, Germany. People from all over the world have joined in. Have been able to enjoy what is, in all reality, maybe not the most normal of paintings in the world. I do like to do, I've done plenty of standard things. Plenty. I just think it's a little bit more fun to do something like this that's a little more oddball. And so that's kind of why I do it. Right, I'm using a little quinacridone rose here with my Hansa yellow or Azo yellow. I think they're about the same thing. It's a cold yellow, and the quinacridone rose is a pretty cold red. It's a pink, but it's a cold red. I guess it's more of a pink, kind of actually more of a magenta actually, but that's okay. We'll call it whatever it is. For me anyways, those fleshy colors are kind of where I do most of the skin I paint. Looks broadly similar to let's see. Flitz says, is there any way I can send some art I made on this stream? I mean, send it in here or send it to me? You want me to look at it or do you want to post it here? That's the question. The only way you're going to be able to post anything here is if you get it to me, and then I can put a link to it. I think I have blocked that just anybody can put a link to their own stuff for obvious reasons. I'd probably be inundated with people taking over my stream, and then people wouldn't listen to me. They'd listen to everybody else, and that wouldn't be any good. We couldn't have that. But if you want to send it to me, you can send it to me at watercolorswithmichael@gmail.com. That will definitely find its way right to me. Like I said, if you're hoping to get a link up on this particular stream, I don't know that it's going to happen because I'd have to stop what I'm doing and research and make sure it's what I want to put on here. But if you're not in a hurry to do that, certainly send it to me, and if it's good stuff, we'll get it up there for you. I don't have any problem promoting other people's artwork. If you got a channel or something like that, I'm willing to promote other artists. I like that. I like doing that. I've had a lot of help along the way in my career. All right, I'm switching down now to a little smaller brush. This is a gamboge. I had to get some green off of my off of my palette there. So this is a gamboge. I'm going to paint his beak. I guess this is a beak. This is an ostrich, right? Ostriches are land birds. Land birds have beaks. If this were a water bird, this would be a bill. It's a land bird. It's got a beak. So let's put some color on that beak, something like that. And now give me a little bit orangier orange, if that makes any sense. A little bit of brown in here. I just want to cool this color down ever so slightly and drop a little color on the bottom of this beak. I don't have my normal crowd here tonight. I'm feeling a little lost. I'll be honest with everybody. I'm feeling a little lost. For years, I've had a pretty normal crowd on a Wednesday. Every time I come on here, and for whatever reason, they're not with me tonight. I hope everybody's doing well. I don't like when people don't do well, so I certainly hope everybody's doing well. There's other things going on, and that they can't make it. I'm sure that's what it is. I'm sure that's what it is. All right, on this side over here, this side of the old gas tank, we've got a little color we need to put on over here too. Right on around this metal. Right, it can get plenty dark down there. Cool, and then some beautiful color coming up. Last week I felt like I got a little caught up in my painting, and it got away from me just a little bit. It got a little too heavy, a little too fast. This week I'm not going to do that. I'm going to revert to type and paint in a little smaller area, a little lighter each time, a little smaller area, a few more layers. That's my goal here. That's my goal. All right, I'm going to switch back up to a little bigger brush. For whatever reason, I just feel more comfortable with this little bigger brush. This is a size 10. And I want to paint all my metal. Mr. K, our cat is back. Vonda, that's you, Vonda, right? Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm glad you made it back. All right, I'll tell you where I'm at. I'm just about to paint some metal here. I like to... so if I have to paint something like this engine, right, there's a lot of detail in this engine, and I don't like to paint a lot of detail. A lot of detail is terrible. It's hard to paint. It's no fun. I'm making it sound great, right? So what I like to do is paint just a general color on the metal area, the engine area, and then just start to darken around it. And then the whole thing I do is just kind of some negative painting. It just seems like such a better way to do a detailed painting like this. And you know what? I can't really do this quite yet because I've got this little wet spot right here. And if I paint right now, that's going to run and run and run. But what I can do, Vonda, I hope you've been having a wonderful week. It's Wednesday. It's hump day, right? Hump day. I hope you've been having a wonderful week so far. It's been a whole week. I hope you had a good weekend. How about that? So this guy's got some, this is where I really should go down a brush size. This guy's got some cool goggles on. I think they're cool goggles. They're just goggles. If I were an ostricycle, I'd have these goggles on. Guaranteed I'd have these goggles on. If I weren't, I probably wouldn't have these on. Maybe if I were climbing a glacier or something like that. I don't know. Doing some welding. Where else? What other venue would you wear goggles like this? I'm not sure. but they're kind of cool. They're kind of cool. They make add a little bit more fun to the painting, right? And that's what it's about. If you have fun painting what you're painting, you're going to do a little better job with your painting. Can I put painting in a sentence any more times than I just put painting in a sentence? But I think it's true. Look, he's got some crazy goggles on there. If you like what you're painting, you're going to do a better job with your painting, and that's why I like painting these ones that are just a little loopy, a little crazy. They're just more fun to paint. All right, let's see what we can do here. Is that that's not quite dry yet. Ooh, what can we do? I can't paint anything that touches this if I'm going to get to that. I gotta wait. Michael, be patient. Okay, let's do this. All right, let's do this. I know what we can do. We're going to take a little bit of our burnt umber. We'll put a little bit of... You need to paint a camel. All right, so I actually have a camel story, Vonda, that you probably haven't heard. And this is one of the... Well, I don't know if it's one of the coolest camel stories, but... There's a ranch here where I live. A ranch. There's a vineyard here where I live. All right, I live on the central coast of California, and you know, it's quite nice here. A lot of vineyards, a lot of ranches, you know, farmyards, barnyards, these big areas. Well, you know, not everybody can afford to farm or ranch their property now, so a lot of the ranch owners will use their properties, especially during the summers, to hold events, specifically, right, weddings and whatnot, which is all well and good, right? Which is really cool. I'm glad they can use their property in some other way. They get to keep it. It doesn't get developed. It still looks beautiful and whatnot. I'm all for that. Well, as it turned out, my wife has a job where she does some event catering or event planning and whatnot. Anyway, she helps host these different events, and one of them is at a vineyard not too far from here. I'm trying to remember the name of the vineyard. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what the name of the vineyard is. This is not important. The rancher, the family that owns the ranch, had adopted a camel from Hollywood, had been used in a number of movies, and was older and not in the best of health, and the movie industry has moved on from her. Well, she now lives on this ranch, right? She's a resident of the ranch, and you can go. Her name is Frida. You can go and see her and talk to her and pet her and feed her. I believe, if you want to. My wife said, "Hey, you should come out and see Frida before the concert starts. You can't go to the concert, obviously. I didn't buy a ticket. That's okay. I don't want to horn in on that if I'm not supposed to be there." But I was like, "Yeah, I would love to come out and see Frida." I never had never seen a camel in person, up close. You know, whatever you want to call it. Didn't know what to expect, and went out to see Frida. And I should say, Frida lives with a cow named Maui. I'm going to say Maui. As I say Maui, Dory's getting out of control here. Dory's got to get back to being Dory. So it lives with a cow named Maui. And they're just in a pen next to a barn, and people walk through it to get from one area of the ranch or the vineyard to another area. So I went out for about 40 minutes, might have been an hour, could have been 2 hours, quite honestly, because it was such a fun experience. I didn't pay attention to my watch. I just walked over there and I petted and I talked to Frida the camel, and Maui the cow, and we had a nice little time. And they will rub up against the fence, and you reach over, and it'll lick you through the fence and everything. It was absolutely a fantastic time. So maybe, you know, maybe I'll do a painting of Maui. Oh, maybe I'll do a painting of Frida the camel. I'm sure I took pictures of Frida the camel, and if I didn't, I'm sure I could find some pictures of Frida the camel. It might be a fun one to do, or I could find something fun like this to do with a camel. I don't know. All right, so here's how I like to paint things like this motor, right? I've done this with car motors. I've done it with tractor motors. I've done it with other motorcycle motors. What you do is you don't paint the motor. You got to put a little color on the motor, a little bit here and there, right? So everything that's kind of metal color-ish. Let's put some of this color on. This is going to be our metal color. And I do this for a lot of metal. I'll do this color for glass a lot of times too, because it plays kind of nicely as glass as well as metal. But I will take a little turquoise and a little Payne's gray, and I'll mix those together in kind of the right combination. Right, depending on how dark or how light or how reflective you want it. I like turquoise because it's a funner blue. I don't think you could do it really with like an aquamarine or something like that. It wouldn't play quite as well. But the turquoise, like I said, it's just a little bit of a lighter color. It's got a different look to it. And I think it works somehow. But I guess anybody who's watching this really is going to be the judge of that, whether I'm nuts or not. But I think it works out pretty well that way. You have lots of camel pictures. Do you have a camel story you want to share? Why? I have one question. Why are you hoarding camel pictures? Do you have a camel story we should all know about? Why we need to know why you have so many camel pictures. Now I'm going to put a little ultramarine blue in with my Payne's gray, and just up underneath a couple of these areas, I'm going to drop in a little color just to darken some areas up here before we even get into doing much with this. A couple of dark areas I think are gonna make this be okay. Sometimes I actually speak English. They're gonna make this have some interest, is what I'm trying to say, right? And anyways, what we need to do is we need to have that darker. So our gas tank is going to be a lighter color. That means we need to have a darker color next to it. The darker color next to it's going to make the gas tank pop out. So dark next to light is a fantastic mantra that I like to use for many things. I guess we got a metallic a bezel here. We can put some color on that right now. I'll say I don't have many camel pictures, but I have another kind of, not that a camel is an exotic animal, but and neither is really the animal I'm going to talk about, but they kind of go together in my mind. My wife and I went up to Hearst Castle one day, which is just up the road a piece, a very small way up the road. We're talking, I don't know, 40 minutes or so. It's not very far. No, my friend had sent me back and forth camel pictures for Wednesdays for years. Interesting. Oh, because it was hump day. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. You don't have to beat me over the head with it too much before I start to understand. It was hump day, and so you get camel pictures. I got it. But we were driving up to Hearst Castle, and the Hearst land is vast, right? Hearst Castle sits in a small parcel of land that the Hearst Castle is in, and it's massive. The Hearst property is absolutely massive. You've been to Hearst Castle. Okay, cool. It's beautiful. Well, if you know anything about Hearst Castle, then you know that Mr. Hearst, William Randolph Hearst, had a vast array of animals living on his property. He had zebras, he had ostriches, he had camels, he had his own zoo. And when you drive up to the castle, you go past some of the zoo grounds. You can see the animal cages when you go past them. Anyways, driving up there, and all of a sudden, there's a camel here, there's a zebra there, there's a zebra there, and I'm like, oh, hold on a minute. Why do we have all these zebras and camels out here? Sudike is here over on YouTube. Welcome, Sudike. Don't think badly of me because I'm painting some mashups. Sudike is always concerned about my mental health when I come out with a picture like this. Not wrongly so. I'm glad you're here, Sudike. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. And thank you for continuing to question my sanity when you see something like this. But come on, they're fun. They're fun to paint. They are really fun to paint. And even when they don't turn out exactly like you think they're going to turn out, they're still fun because they turn out fun. They turn out right because they're fun to paint. If I could only speak. Good thing I don't do anything where there's anybody watching me, like on the internet or anything. People will think I don't understand the English language. You do a painting like this, and even if it's technically not right, what I'm trying to say is it turns out great because it's so fun to paint. You have a good time with it because it's so fun to paint. That's all I'm trying to say. There we go, painting around, starting to get some detail around those goggles up there. I think what I want to do is my engine dry. My engine's getting dry. I want to start darkening up some of this area, right? This area is very dark, and it's not quite dry, and I bled right into that, and I don't want to do that. And so now I'm just going to put color right back there, and it's going to do the same thing. We'll figure it out. But this area is quite a bit darker down here, so we can afford to be a little generous with some color. Still trying very hard not to put on a thick layer. I got caught up doing that last week, and I don't want to do that again. Kenya is here too. Hello, Kenya. I'm glad. I was actually thinking earlier that if Kenya is here, I'm going to paint a background on this. And if Kenya is not here, I'm not going to paint a background on this. And you're here, and I guess I have to live up to my own word now, and we'll probably end up painting a background on our ostrich now as it's running across some desert here. I guess it's probably the African plain. Ostriches are African. Oh, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they must be, right? Where else would they be from? They're not. Yeah, they got to be African. I don't know. Yes, I'm just gonna say yes, they are. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yay, background. Oh, I should probably get started on that sooner rather than later. If I'm going to do it. Later. Later's always better. No, wait. Later will work itself out somehow. All right. I'm going to make up a little bit of my kind of fleshy tone here. I want to darken it down a little bit for our leg back here. Actually, that looks more muddy than dark. What I've got there looks more muddy than dark. I think my yellow is not clean here. It's got a little bit of green in it. So let me see if I can get some of this green off of there. And let's remake this little puddle of paint. Does anybody else, seriously, does anybody else have the problem with their yellows getting muddy and dirty? I like yellow, but I feel like I spend as much time cleaning my yellow as I do using my yellows. I've got to get used to, I guess, getting yellow first, everything else next, rather than the other way around. Yeah, now see, I almost did it right there too. Let's clean that brush before we dip into there. There we go. This is a nice kind of fleshy color right there. And I'm just going to tone that down a little bit. Cool. Just a little bit of burnt umber in there. I don't think it's going to take it down too much. Actually, I should get my test page and we can see how much it's going to take it down. Yes, it drives me crazy. I think I need a little bit more pink in there, having seen this. All right, I can live with that. I can live with that one. I wanted a little bit more on the pink side. Actually, if it's a little bit more on the yellow side in some areas, I was looking back at some of my paintings. I think I've done a decent job of it, but I think I could do a better job of varying the colors that I use, so that even if in this one little area I'm doing this, there were some areas that were a little bit more yellow and some areas that were a little more pink, I think that'd be totally fine. Would add a bit of interest to what we're doing here. I don't want it all to be pink, or I don't want it all to be yellow. Whoa, I didn't know that was going to happen. But I think if we have a little bit of that color going on, I think we're going to be totally fine. And let's just bring that color down a little bit. How far down does our shadow come on this leg? On this drumstick? I guess we call this a drumstick. It looks to be the biggest drumstick in the world. Whew. Somewhere, I don't know, right about here. Let's make a decision. That's where that shadow is going to come down to. And then we've got to divide these toes up somehow. And let's give a little bit of shadow on the side of this toe too, just to make sure people understand that there's a toe there. You can't even barely see that one. I put a small dab of yellow in the 3 mixing areas of my palette for mixing colors. That way I can keep the main yellow area clean. All right, that's probably a really good idea. That's probably a super idea. And it's probably an idea I'm never going to follow because I can't be bothered. Because I'll feel like I can't be bothered. Even though I probably should do it. That's a good idea, though. You just go to it, pull some out, put it in a different area, and never dip back in that main one until you need to refill the smaller areas. It's a great idea. Great idea. See, look, I almost did it again. Look, I'm so used to doing yellow second. So used to doing yellow second. Let's see, I know we've got some shadow area on this one over here. All right, we got a whole half of a leg that needs to be in shadow. Oh, all underneath here. And this one I got to be a little quicker because we've got to do some shading on this. Or I guess I can come, once I get down here, I can do a little bit of that shading. I guess right through here a little bit. Let's do something here. All right, I do not want this to make a hard line here. So I want to make sure that that is nice and soft as it comes around that leg. Trying very hard to keep the proper amount of moisture on my brush. Very nice gradual wash here. All right, something like that. Do we have a little bit more color in here? We can keep working down. Keep working down here. Oh my Lord, you can see the green in that one now. Let's make everything a little stronger. We'll get that green out of there. There we go. There's a big knee right there. Actually, this is this is kind of funny. I mean, I know it's funny. That's why I wanted to paint it, but as I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, this is actually a kind of a, it's a really weird kind of a thing, but that's okay. Oh, let's do that. Let's do that. That foot is this leg is mostly in shadow. Just that little back area is in the light. We'll clean this up in a second, but I just want to get a few little layers on here. Start to get some color where we need it. Maybe not a hard edge there. That's all right. That's okay. We're good. We're good. We're good. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. That's a bit. It might be a bit pinker than I thought. We might have to come back with some actual darker, a little bluer back here to darken a couple of these areas down, but we're getting there. Now I want to do a little bit on the gas tank, and I don't necessarily have to do the gas tank the same color as everything else. But it might help. Might help a little bit. Oh, now my colors are really mixing in here, and I don't want that. We got some more people here coming in on YouTube. I'm going to throw it out there. Say hello. I love talking while I'm painting. I'm going to talk while I paint. I'm just letting you know, I'm going to talk while I paint. I would like to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. And I think it makes this stream a little bit more interesting for you all, but I'm willing to continue to talk about anything that I want to talk about. So if you've got something you want to talk about, throw it out there. Ask your questions. You can ask anything you want about me, about my art. You can ask the why, the how. You can ask anything you want to about my painting, my views on paint, paper, palettes, pencils, brushes. I'll talk about brushes till the ostriches come home. Anything you want to talk about, just let me know. I'm I love talking about it. I love talking about it. So this is a gas tank that probably started white. It's aged a little over the years as this ostrich has grown up, as this ostrich cycle has grown up. It maybe isn't quite as nice as it used to be. Been running through this dusty desert for a long time. It's a little dirty, a little dusty, a little faded. The color isn't, quite as nice as it was. But that's okay. Right? As we age, we all get a little dust on us a little bit. I'm just going to say it that way. I'm going to be nice and say we all get a little dust on us from time to time. I want to darken right around the edges a little bit. Hopefully that gives it a bit of some dimension. Right? It doesn't need to be completely dark. It doesn't need to be too crazy. It's going to be a lighter area in the painting. So just that little bit that we can do to suggest that there's some curvature to that tank is what we want to do. Let's see, what else do we need to put on here? What else do we need to put on here? We can put lots of stuff on here. Oops, come on, I got a little break in my color. I want to fill that in. Okay, you know what I want to start doing is I want to start filling in, doing the negative painting on our engine here. So I'm gonna go back to our engine color, and I'm gonna mix in a little bit of neutral tints, and that's gonna darken it down a little bit. Wanda says, love watching me paint. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. There's not a lot that is taboo about how or why you paint. There are a few techniques that, if you don't understand them, it really makes painting harder to do. And once you do understand them, or once you understand why you do things in a certain order, it makes painting that much easier to do. So when I'm talking about doing something like this, and I go, oh, you should, this is a good way to do that, or a good time to do that, or something to that effect. Those are the quick tips that I think sometimes people go, oh, I never really thought you could do it that way. And when you try it on your own, you're going to go, wow, that makes things so much easier to do. Why didn't anybody else tell me I should do it that way? Or why didn't anybody tell me how to do it like that? Or why does nobody ever, teach that you could do it that way? The answer I always think is, I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea other than the fact that for whatever reason, we all like to go, well, I had to learn it this way, and so everybody else has to learn it this way, which I always think is a terrible way to do things. I've told the story that I've taken that one watercolor class, and the teacher never, not once did the teacher actually get out and walk around the class and sit down with you and help you paint. He would sit at the front of the class, and he would go, well, this is what you need to do. Go ahead and do it. And if you have questions, you're going to ask your classmates. Somebody will be able to figure it out. And I was always like, really? Is that where we're at in whatever year it was? I'm like, really? That's the best way we can figure out how to teach something, is by just saying, figure it out and ask your classmates? I don't know. I never understood some teaching pedagogy. Ooh, now that's a big word. Maybe I shouldn't have used that word. That might have been too big of a word for me. But it's true. I'm like, why do we do that? I don't have any idea. So, that's one reason I like to do this, because I like to answer. I love answering questions. I love helping people out. I was lucky enough to be involved in a group online that really helped me understand how to paint a number of things. By the way, this engine is not going to look anything like an engine that you'll see anywhere on a bike. I'm looking in here, and I'm finding some areas that I think could or should probably be dark, and I'm just kind of painting some of those areas. If these are areas that could or should be dark on a normal motorcycle engine, then that's a kind of a bonus. But what I think more than anything is, I'm painting a couple of areas that are going to make it look engine-ish, engine adjacent, let's say. And I'll also say, it doesn't matter, because when we're done with it, and you stand 4 feet away from this, you're not going to go, well, that's clearly a Kawasaki 482, 6-carb 2-barrel, whatever. No. You're going to look at it from 4 feet away, from 6 feet away, and you're going to go, whoa, look at that. That's a funny engine. And you're not going to think, nobody's going to think a second thought about the whole thing. See, I got a gas cap up here. I should probably paint a bit of a gas cap on here, huh? Light, Michael, light. There we go. And I am jumping around a little bit. There's two reasons why you jump around a little bit. One is because you always want to try to keep working. Well, before I say you always want to try to keep working in a certain area, say lots of times you want to keep working in a fresh area or a dry area because it keeps the area fresher, right? You spend too much time looking at any one area and all of a sudden that area becomes overworked. The other thing is you want to give this area you just touched time to dry up, time to set on the page a little bit. So if you can go to this area and paint this and keep it wet, and then something that's not touching that over there, make that wet, and then go to a different area, then you can continue to work on the painting. And just keep the whole thing rolling. If I were to take this and go, I need to get, the head and neck done before I do everything and just focus on this, it would take me longer to do this in one shot than it would be to just come back as I'm doing other things. So a couple of reasons why you jump around there. Plus, I guess the other reason why you might want to do that is if you are jumping around, you might actually gain a little bit more perspective on one area. You might go, oh, you know what? I meant to do this other way, and I need to save this a little bit and figure out maybe a better way to restore what you were doing and get away from making a larger mistake. Not that that's ever happened to me, like every time. Just one of those techniques that you pick up, that you learn. Oh, this would be if I did this way, I could save myself a lot of time. One of those things. All right, I'm going to keep right on rolling here. This is a little burnt umber. These are his tail feathers. Right? I'm a big proponent on not painting everything. Right? I'm painting some feathers. I'm painting a bushel of feathers here. I don't want to paint individual feathers. Painting individual feathers would make me nuts. But if I do all of these kind of like I'm doing, and then you look at them and you go, oh, I can see where, it's some broken area back here. It's at the tail. They must all be feathers. Then you're going to believe that they're feathers. And I'm sure I've told this before. I had a friend who lives up in have a friend, I guess I should say, who lives up in the state of Washington. And she goes out into nature all the time and paints. And one day I looked at her paintings. I was like, man, these are fantastic. These are really good. And then I looked at them and I was like, wait a minute, hold on a second. You're painting these trees, or you're painting some ducks, or you're painting some whatever. I'm like, oh, but you don't actually have any of those in your painting. She goes, no, I don't put actual things in my painting. I was like, what? I don't understand. What does that mean? She goes, I try to suggest to the viewer everything that's in my painting. I don't want to state that I have things in there. Just give the general indication that something's there. And more often than not, the viewer's mind is going to fill in what they want to see. And you don't have to make yourself nuts trying to paint something, spend hours upon hours trying to paint something and get it, quote, perfect. A word I don't like. I don't like using the word perfect. But you don't have to make it, so detailed that it makes you nuts and doesn't give the viewer, who's ever viewing your artwork, the ability to see things their own way. So just give them the rough approximation of what is out there. And I was like, you know what? In some way, shape, or form, that makes a lot of sense. And so I don't always, especially with something like tail feathers, you could spend days, weeks, months trying to paint tail feathers on a bird, and feathers in general on a bird. I'll put a couple, even the bigger bird paintings I do, the commission paintings I do, I'll paint a feather or two, and then I'm done. I want to give the indication of a feather being there, and then I want to be out of it. I don't want to spend all that time painting feathers. I would rather spend my time making the painting look watercolory or cool and squidgy, or whatever the adjective is that you want to use. I'd rather spend my time doing something like that rather than trying to paint something so tight that I'm going to make myself nuts and probably take away some of the enjoyment from who's ever viewing my artwork. There we go. A little bit darker is Beak there. I could probably go a little oranger on there too. Maybe I went back here. Give me a little touch of this alizarin crimson on here. I don't want much. I just want to darken it a little bit. Alizarin crimson is very strong. A little is going to go a long way. I'm going to pull some of this out. I think it's going to be just enough to add a little interest to some of his beak here. All right. I like his beak. It's a little brighter. My colors aren't nearly as muted as those are, but I like it. I think it's got a nice look to it. All right, what do we need to do? Oh my Lord, we got so much to go. But look what has happened here. All of a sudden, right, we went on, we painted some other stuff. We come back here and look, oh, there's an engine here. Somehow, some way, an engine got right there. Wait a minute, that's phthalo blue. I don't want phthalo blue. Somehow an engine has gotten here. I'm not sure how that's happened, but it did. It got here, and we're going to continue to work on that engine. We're definitely going to continue to work on this engine because I think we can define a couple of extra parts here and there. Right, and this is part of it too. I'm using the same general color scheme in here that I've used for everything, but I can vary the values in here a little bit. And you vary the value. In essence, what you start doing is you vary the depth a little bit, right? So the light hits this a little differently because it's a slightly different value in here, and that makes it look slightly different, gives it a whole different look and feel to it. But we're definitely developing an engine kind of look down here. We definitely are doing that, without a doubt. And we're not doing much to get to it. And of course, if you go back over top of something, even with that lighter color, you're going to end up enhancing it. You're going to end up enhancing the color of it just that little bit. I like where we're going with this. I really like where we're going with this. Go right back over the top of this. So it looks like my color ran a little bit. I think that's the fibers of the paper ran into my gas tank just a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. It's not going to bother me much. It will bother me a little bit. I'll be honest about that. I'm not going to let it bother me that much. But we're getting some interest in here. So look, all of a sudden now it looks like we've got more parts on that engine. I don't know what's in that engine. That engine is totally out of control. There's a lot going on there. But we didn't do anything. I didn't paint an engine. I just had some basic shapes and I put some color on over top of them. And I'm letting the engine do everything it wants to do. You know what I want to do? While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to start here. Give me some of this Payne's gray. I want to paint some of the goggles. Goggles are eyes, and I typically like to paint eyes last. But I want to see what they look like. So I'm going to do a little painting of these goggles right now. Just get a little color on here. Straight Payne's gray, not much here. Not much, just want to see how this is going to look. And and I think it's going to look great up there. I think it's going to look fantastic. The engine, Kenya says, the engine is looking good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's funny, I didn't do anything. I love painting stuff like that where I don't do much and the painting rewards me for that. That's the best thing. That's by far the best way to paint. Let the paint do the painting. Let the water help you out. Water works against us so much for a lot of watercolor painting. Let's do what we can to let the water help us out, right? I've got some feathers in here I want to kind of promote or highlight a little bit. They're not much. They're not real big, but I want to put them in here and maybe just a little bit of color down the neck. The neck seems to be a bit bland through here, if I can say that. Bland, it probably isn't the right word, but there could be more to it. There could be more to it, and there's going to be more because we're putting in just a little bit of interest here. Just a little bit. So, you know, maybe there's a muscle here or something like that. Something. Come on, probably want to take most of this color away. I don't want all of that color on there. Clean my brush very good. Pull it through the color I don't want. Everything else is going to stay. There's going to be a little line there. Much better. Much more in line with what I want. All right, so now we've got a couple of decisions to make. This is pretty red up here, right? That's our skin color. If we go over our skin color, if I put a gray, even a warm gray over top of that, does that make it look shadowy? Or look, I did the same thing again. It's yellow first, then red. Well, then I got to go back into my yellow anyway. All right. If I do this, how does that look with just some neutral tint? Neutral is so strong. Neutral is so strong. I think I like the neutral better than the gray. So I'm going to do a little bit of neutral tint here. I'm going to try to lighten this up. This is, quite honestly, this is something that is always going to frighten me. I want to darken this up. Just take the intensity down a little bit. I don't really want to darken it all that much. I just want it to be a little darker. Right, it's in a deeper shadow back there. How do I do that? I'm going to do it right now with that little bit of neutral. That's probably a bit better. Probably actually kind of going to work out. Let's see if we can't duplicate that on this side a little bit. We got some darker shadows right over here. All right, this may not be the color we go everywhere with, but let's put some over here. Let's see what happens with it. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like it, I like it, I like it. I don't think I've got the shadow line on that back leg quite right. That's going to take an adjustment. So before I do too much more with that, I think I'm going to let that sit. I think that neutral pushed that back. That leg got pushed back with that little bit of blue in there. I'm good with that. We've got to go a little darker here on the body, the rump, I guess, of this ostrich. So I do have to leave this leg lighter so it's way in front. So we're going to get to that. Just mentally marking down some of the things that we got to do here. We've got kind of a dirty brown line we need to make. Oh, we need to use my favorite here, maroon paraline. Oh, this will be good. Maroon paraline and a little bit of burnt umber. Makes it a fantastic old dusty kind of rusty brown color. Oh, look at how nice that color is. I love that color. I absolutely love that color. So I'm going to use that on the gas tank here. Do I want to do this? I don't want to do this yet. I don't want to do that yet. You know what? I'm going to hold off for a second because I think we have more to do with the shadowing on that tank. And I want to do more with the shadowing on the tank before we get to putting that red line on. One thing at a time. Someday, look, I'm obviously learning a little bit. Learning to hold myself back just enough that I don't get myself in trouble. Oh, somewhere up like that should be enough to give this tank a bit of dimensionality, which is all I want it to have. Probably it's got a little too much color back there, but that's okay. Does it look like it's got... It does look like it's got a bit more dimensionality to it right now. Okay. I can live with some of that. I can live with that. You get a little bit more of this dark right along this edge here. And I'm not doing this with blue, really. Right? I'm kind of shying away from some of the blue tones on this. And I'm doing that on purpose. This is out. Look at him. Well, I'll put him on the big screen, or I'll blow him up here for you in a second. He's out running in the desert, right? He's out in the desert. Where's he at? Reference photo. Reference photo? There it is, reference photo. There you go. You can see that background. He's got some mountains behind him. He's running around. He's doing whatever it is ostricycles do. But it's not hang out where there are any deep shadows or anything like that. So he needs to not have a whole lot of blue on him for the shadows. You know, little is probably fine, but they're warmer shadows. Purple, if anything. Blue is definitely out. Get back into some cooler browns, probably, for the shadow. I think is maybe the best way to do it. But I do think he's coming along. I really do. I do. Yeah, I think he's looking great. I think he's starting to look great. I want to maybe just a touch of this neutral here. Right, the underside of his beak under here is a little bit darker. Still kind of orangey, but a bit darker. Let's put some of that color on. Just like that. We can actually use this for some shadow as it comes across underneath his goggles. All right, there's probably a shadow line. And shoot, we might as well give him his nostril right there too, huh? What do you think? There we go. Now, this area up here, we're almost done. We got something to do on the goggles, but we're almost done with that. Love the way the engine is looking. We've got a bit to do on his haunches back here. Let's see, my color's running again. This is a constant thing with me. Is trying to get my table is slanted about 5 degrees or so. And because my table is slanted, my palette is slanted. And because my palette is slanted, I'm constantly fighting with it to get it not to be slanted, and it doesn't like that. I've got stuff propped under it and moved to this side and moved to that side. And it really doesn't like to be straightened out, and so it fights me all the time. And so I'm constantly trying to figure out how to straighten it out. Not a big deal. It's really not much of a big deal, but it is slanted, and my colors go all over the place. They go all over the place. Sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes it's funny. All the time, it's just, it is what it is. All right, I'm just going to keep right on going here. Not a lot of questions, not a lot of comments tonight. That's okay. That's all right. When you guys have them, throw them out there. Like I said, I love answering questions. I love talking to everybody as I'm painting. So it makes me want to keep doing this. And some color all the way around here. I don't know that I'm gonna put a whole lot more color here as I dip my brush back in here, but I don't know that I need a whole lot more color. Maybe a little bit more color in here. Something, a little something. But I think everybody's gonna understand kind of what's going on here. Oh man, that makes me laugh. That looks so good. That looks so good. It looks so good. I'm gonna get real quickly a drink of water. Holy cow, I just looked at the clock. We've been doing this for an hour. Maybe I missed. Why did you decide to go with warmer shadow versus cooler shadow? Great question. Because I feel like this guy's out running in a warmer area. He's out on the savannah or the Serengeti or some place like that. Could be in any high desert or anything like that. To me, that's a warmer area. The sunlight is going to bounce off of things slightly different. I feel like the temperature value is going to be a bit warmer. And because of that, I just wanted to have a little bit warmer shadows. If I need to make my own, I'm happy to make my own. I just didn't think that a fully blue or bluish, too bluish of a shadow was what I wanted on here. So I didn't put it on. That's the only reason. There's no, I could do the same painting and put blue colder shadows on here. Probably it would turn out fantastic. My initial thought for this was that it didn't require the cold shadow. It required a warmer shadow. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. But great question. All right. So I like his. I love his head up here. I think that's looking really good. I do want to just give a couple of lines here. My painting probably isn't quite as smooth as it needs to be, and so I think he needs a bit of a line to demarcate the top of his beak from the bottom of his beak. Let's see. I'm going to paint another layer on his goggles here. Another layer. All right, so Wanda says I should paint a camel next week, given that it's hump day. Given that Wednesday is hump day. Is anybody else? My eyes are starting to get a little tired. Anybody have any other ideas? What do you think? Should I do a camel next week? Should I do a camel next week? A camel might be fun. And if I did a camel, now I'm kind of on this streak where I don't just do one thing. I kind of make one thing look a little funny. Should I make it a funny camel? Or should it just be a camel? You know what? Let's paint that same or similar brown-ish color as everything else, right? We want his headlight to match the gas tank, I would suppose. I was going to paint this just black. I had full intent of just painting this black and being done with it, and now I'm like, yeah, black wouldn't have been quite right. Could have painted it black. Wouldn't have been quite right. I think something that matches that gas tank is a much better option here. A much better option. Ooh, that's a lot of sepia. It's a lot of sepia. There we go. We can get that on there. Nobody wants to suggest next week's painting. All right, that's okay. I'm happy to make the decision all on my own. I think I can. Oh, no. I washed away the red I was going to use. That's all right. Can make that color back up in a jiffy. In a jiffy. There's a line. Yeah, there's a line from back here too. All right, now all I got to do is be able to get this to go around some kind of a curve. How hard can it be? How hard can it be? For me, it can be pretty hard. Woo-hoo. I'm hoping that when I look down my hair, you're not seeing my hair. You're seeing me painting and not just a view of the top of my head. I'm hoping. This is one area I struggle a lot. A circle. A circle which isn't a circle because you're looking at an angle, so it's an oval. Well, that might have been one of the better ones I've ever done, though. I like that. I can live with that. do you think? Black numbers? Black numbering on here? Do I dare push my luck? I gotta watch because this is still wet. Totally wet. And I don't want to get my fingers into it at the moment. I've been doing so good about not getting my fingers into my paintings, or the palm of my hand into the paintings that I've been doing recently. I've been doing so good with it. I don't want to start back up doing that. Look at, there you go. He's got a number. I did. For me, that's probably the hardest part of the whole painting. Is painting the number on there. All right, let's get back to his leg here. We got to fix his leg. Not fix. Fix isn't the right word. We've got a little work to do. Oh, that's probably the wrong color. We got a little work to do here. What did I say? We were doing a little bit of neutral in there, right? A little bit of neutral. Yeah, just tone it down a little bit. So what does this whole... Oh, he's got... All right, it's just got to come out more. Right, this leg is beefier. This leg is thicker than I gave it credit for. That's what we got to do. Is we got to make that shadow come out a bit more. Is all. Yeah, that's gonna look better. It's gonna look better coming out that little bit more. Okay, cool. Anybody else? Nobody? No other questions? I'm just gonna keep right on talking about stuff. I'm gonna keep right on going. I'm just going to go right on talking. I'm very excited. This weekend, the students at my work are going to be going out on a fishing trip, on a job-sponsored fishing trip. I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to be 4 of us from our office going out, and 5 students, 6 students, something like that, will be joining us to fish. And I've held a fishing lesson for them, which I think is great. I want them all to be super successful when they get out there to do some fishing. I want everybody to catch a fish, at least one fish. Certainly can't guarantee that by any stretch of the imagination, but I want to put everybody in as positive a position as possible. And so I've held some training, some fishing training. It's been on everybody's training board to do. So hopefully they can learn a little bit about how to fish and what the bite feels like and how to cast and that sort of thing. Last year when we did it, I'm going to talk about whatever I have going on. Last year when we did it, we had 3 people who went out. I think we had 7 people total last year. We had 3 people who went out who had never, ever fished before. And everybody but one person caught a fish, and I was totally excited about that. I was so happy. I mean, not happy that the one person didn't catch a fish, but excuse me. Totally excited that everybody else did. The one person who didn't catch a fish is coming back out this year, and he's excited to get back out and have another opportunity to catch a fish. I've never been fishing. Well, I've never been fishing. My nephew told me he would take me fishing next time I travel back east. There you go. It's, I have realistic expectations about it. It's not for everybody. not everybody wants to fish. Not everybody needs to fish. Not everybody agrees with fishing. In California, you got to live with a little bit of that. I'm okay with it. This is not a requirement by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just a way for us to get back out and have some fun and do something with the kids. Like I said, last year, the kids had never done any fishing. Are you going to make the group fishing an annual thing? This is our second year doing it. So yes, we are going to be doing it. And the funny thing is, to me, the funny thing is the reason it's an annual event is because one of our students, and I'm not going to say her name because it's not my place to, but not who I would have thought would be the one who wanted to go out fishing. Fantastic student, fantastic worker, a Korean girl who is here, and went out last year and kind of took her own chair and sat down and just sat the whole time and fished. And when we said it's time to go, she went, okay, and reeled up, and all of a sudden there was a fish on her line, and she was like, whoa, I caught a fish. And she was completely, totally excited about it and had a great time and wanted to take and go out with everybody again this year. So she's been one of the driving forces to get all of her coworkers back out there fishing. So I'm really excited that she wanted to do it. I'm really excited that everybody else is on board with it. In addition to the students who are going to be going out there, we have 4 or 5 staff members who are going to be going out, most of whom aren't big fishermen. I think they've all probably fished before, but I wouldn't say they are big fishermen, and it'll be fun to get them out. I'm taking every bit of gear I have and loaning it out to everybody in hopes of everybody having a good time. I think it's going to be great. I'm so looking forward to it. All right, how does our engine, does our engine look like an engine? All of a sudden, right, I just put some lines and some circles and stuff on this, and it looks like there's something going on there, right? It looks very engine-ish. And I didn't do much with it. I just put a couple of layers of different things on here, and it looks engine-ish. Is engine-ish a word? It looks engine-ish. When I was young, did I ever go ice fishing? I went ice fishing about 1 million times growing up. I currently have 2 ice fishing poles. I don't do any ice fishing now because you can only do ice fishing in the cold, and I swore off the cold. I don't do cold much anymore. But yes, I did all kinds of ice fishing. We never went ice fishing in a cabin. My family did ice fishing on the ice, and we would take a chainsaw out with us, or a hole driller, sometimes a chainsaw, sometimes the hand auger, and make the holes ourselves. And then you sit there on the ice, one of those little foldable triangle chairs. You sit down, you put your bait in, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait. And when you're, how old would I have been? When you're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, something like that. Probably not the most exciting thing in the world to do, but quite honestly, I never really minded because I was always doing it with my dad, and I wanted to do a lot with my dad. I still want to do more with my dad. But yes, I did ice fish as a child. I remember being exceedingly cold many, many, many times, but also having a good time and catching a few fish while I was doing it. So DK, so oh, you said you've never been fishing. You haven't gone ice fishing, but you've seen people out ice fishing. I'm assuming you've seen people out ice fishing in their little shanties on the lakes. You must have. It's kind of one of those things that if you live in the upper Midwest, or if you live in anywhere in the North, really, you've probably seen a lot of people ice fishing. It is completely an interesting experience. You don't actually take a real fishing pole out with you, which I always thought was a little funny. You don't need it. In no way, shape, or form do you need it. All you need is this little stubby kind of little pole. Mine currently are, I think, about 2.5, 3 feet long, something like that. That's all you need. That's all you use. Something tiny like that. And you make it work. The fish don't fight nearly as much. You pull them up, and off you go. It's actually pretty amazing. I don't remember what we ever used as bait. I do remember, however, what I do remember, I'll share with you, is that one winter, my grandfather took us all out ice fishing, and it was a nice warm day. It probably was later in the year. I remember drilling into the ice and going, I'm not sure. I didn't say this, right? At the time, I wouldn't have been old enough. I probably would have said it had I known to say it. But I remember the discussion. I guess this is the better way to say the discussion between my dad and my grandfather saying, I'm not sure this ice is quite thick enough to do this. And my grandfather, yeah, it'll be fine. What's the worst that can happen? What could go wrong? And what went wrong was the ice cracked. The ice cracked. And my grandfather's van then slid through a crack in the ice and sank in the lake, all because the ice was too thin for whatever the poundage of the van was. And that kind of put an end to our ice fishing that trip. He went back in the spring. He had some friends who were divers, scuba divers. They dove down, hooked it up to a thing, and towed it out of the lake. I don't know if he ever drove it again, but I know he pulled it out of the lake anyways. I watch a lot of videos by people who are truck campers, and a couple of them did ice fishing. Okay, hard to watch. I've always been afraid that people would fall through the ice. Yeah, if they get those big, fishing shacks, right? Then they cut those giant holes in there, and yeah, I'm like, it's a 3 foot by 2 foot or 4 foot by 3 foot hole that you cut into the ice. Yeah. I feel like they're going to fall through sometimes too, but we would just have a little hole, about the size of a coffee can, and that's where we fished, right in there. It worked for us. All right, we got a little bit of work to do here. Got some, we got some wrinkles on this guy. Right? We put some wrinkles on him. It's going to help us really understand where the curvature of his fingers, his legs, his toes are going to be. So we got to get a few lines on here. They don't have to be super detailed. They don't have to be you know, super bold or anything like that, but we do need to get a couple of these lines on here. And I'm going to try to work quickly on these so that they don't look too overworked. I've already gotten that down here. I hope that, actually, maybe I can do a little bit of that. I hope that we can, my video just blipped. That was weird. I hope that we can get a couple of lines on here in a couple of places and everybody see what it's supposed to look like. Did the video blip for you guys? I swear it just went bloop. See, maybe he's got a couple of bigger muscles up here. Something like this. This is all just adding to, this is what I think is really funny about watercolors, that you can do in watercolors you can't necessarily do in other mediums, right? I can put some color together. I can throw a couple of lines on here. No blip. Interesting. So it's all on my end. Oh, that makes it even worse. I can throw a couple of lines on here and it's gonna look like something, right? It's totally going to look like something. It's all adding to the value of this. It's all making it look more interesting. But you can't do that in other mediums because there's too much overhead to doing it in other mediums. You try this in oil paint or acrylic paint, you know, I'm not 100% certain, but I'd be willing to bet you that it's going to turn out really odd and look a little funny and not quite right. But in watercolor, you put a couple things on, you move some color here and there. All of a sudden, everything's fine. Just adding a couple lines here and there for some feathers. Make it look like a feather or two. What else do we need? Oh, Kenya, we got a whole background to do. Holy cow. Let's do this. I got a big, my big Da Vinci Casaneo brush here. Okay, let's do this. Deserty scene, bright sunlight. To me, that means cerulean blue. Let's get some of this cerulean going in here. This is wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful cerulean blue. Look at the color of that blue. Tell me that's not a wide open spaces sun sky. Dwayne is here. Welcome. Don't worry about any tardiness, Dwayne. You made it. That's all that counts. I'm glad you made it here. Thank you for joining. Thank you. I hope you've had a great week. I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit, and I'm not going to paint into the mountains. I'm going to do everything but those mountains, and we'll do those separately. We'll just take it up to the sky. All right, we're going to do this in 2 stages or 3 stages probably rather than in 1. And as I'm doing this, as in many instances, I'm no longer, I shouldn't say I'm not, I should say I'm no longer worried about doing this exactly in a uniform wash, right? If it's pretty uniform, that's awesome. If it's not uniform, that's awesome because it's just going to add some subtle interest to everything we got going here. So I am trying to work a little bit quickly. Dwayne, yes, you're not seeing things. I've gone mad. This is some kind of beast that is half ostrich, half motorcycle. I just thought it would be fun to paint. I totally just thought it would be fun to paint. That's all. And you know what it is? It's hysterical. I I cannot tell you, since I started painting these crazy things, the amount of comments I get when people walk past my office and they look in there and they're like, wait, hold on a second. Why is there a gangster in there, and why is he an alien? I don't get it. Vonda over on Twitch has to leave. Vonda, thank you for joining. Very much appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get to see you again soon. If not next week, I'm going to try to do something over the weekend. This is going to be a tough weekend. Here where I live, there's not only is there the fishing trip with the students this week, but the car show is in town this week. Yes, the car show is in town. Yeah, but not an alien ostrich motorcycle, so it's all good. Okay, good. Thank you for. I appreciate the understanding, Dwayne. Don't worry, we'll get back to the aliens. Have no doubt we'll get back to the aliens. They're still hanging out there somewhere, but not quite yet. Yeah, they're kind of a hit around the office. It's all good. I have so much fun painting them, and they're such a conversation piece that I love doing it. It's great. It's fantastic. So, quick background. I'm going to pull this all the way down, and we'll work around. It's going to be. I can put in some additional detail up here, maybe. Probably not too much. Because I'm going to put another layer down in the front down here. Where it's a little closer, we'll add some details up here. In this half, this just has to kind of just be wet to gain a little bit of this color. Not much else. Dwayne, it's been a long time since I got to talk to you. Are you still painting anything, or what do you got going on? I hope you're still able to do a little bit of painting. Let's see. You were a little south for. Wasn't there a tornado that went through? Like Oklahoma? That's too far away from you. That wouldn't have gotten to you, or I hope not, anyways. Weather is so weird. When weather rolls through, I'm just like, man, wherever people are at, just get out of the way and get safe. You have been doing some painting. Fantastic. I'm glad. Have they been alien paintings? Any anything from off-world? I have some drawings ready. You have some drawings? Cool. Which means that drawings doesn't always mean that there are paintings inevitable, but it helps. It's at least a step in the right direction. I've got 4 or 5 drawings here that are waiting for me to say yes, it's time to move on to those. We had some this week. Your daughter moved out of your daughter moved out to Nashville. Exciting and scary all at the same time. I'm looking forward to, simultaneously looking forward to and dreading the day that my kids move out. They resemble alien worlds somewhat. I'm quite fond of my kids. It's the goofiest thing to say. Everybody's fond of their kids. And I'm gonna have a cry for a long time when they move out. And honestly, I never ever thought I would ever utter a sentence that would be anything like that. I never talked about it that much. With my mother always said when I turn 18, my birthday gift will be a set of luggage, and she will help me pack. Not that my mother didn't love me or doesn't, necessarily wanted me to go, but that was the sentiment. And when I moved away to college, I moved away and never looked back, never came back, anything like that. So I never asked her what her feelings were about my moving away or anything like that. I don't know if that would be a normal conversation. It was just not a conversation we had. But as my kids are getting older and preparing for that stage of life, I I find myself dreading it. I'm already to the stage where they would rather do stuff with their friends than with me, and I get that, but I'm still going to be completely sad. I'm going to cry like a baby. I'm just telling you. You're gonna see me on here Wednesday, and I'm just going to be in tears. Oh, the kids finally moved out. I don't want them to move out. my oldest, Dwayne's giving me a sliver of hope here. My oldest is 29, and he still lives with us, and we're okay with it. There you go. All right. Dwayne's giving me a sliver of hope. My journey was a little different. I guess when I say I never went home, I did kind of go home. I didn't really go home. I went off to college at Ohio State, and I didn't come back. And after a year of that, my mother, who had been living by herself for that year, said, yeah, I'm kind of over it, and she remarried and moved away. She moved out to California, where I'm at now. And I'm just waiting for this to dry just a little bit. And so one of the stops in my schooling along the way was at Long Beach State. I moved out to go to school here in California at one point in time. So I moved away. I tell everybody I moved away, but I kind of came back to, I only partially moved away. So I did get a little extra time with my mother in there. Sudika says, I prepared for the empty nest by picking up a couple of hobbies before they left. Also, follow my sister's advice, don't keep the boys' rooms as a shrine. Oh, yeah. That's kind of like must be present to win, right? If you're moving out, I'm taking over the room. We're remodeling the room. We got stuff to do. Now, I think the first one that goes, the room, his current room is going to be turned into my wife's office, so that she'll have a place to do some of her work, and that will be it. There won't be a you can return. Well, there will be a you can return. You can absolutely return, and I hope you do. But the couch will then be your home rather than your old bedroom. That's just kind of how it's going to have to be. And we don't have such a big house that we can just let one be anyways. All right, I'm trying to get some gentle lines in here. A little darker in some areas, a little lighter in some areas. I don't know that this is going to work exactly like I wanted it to, or like I thought it was going to. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Let's see. My family left me in Texas when I was 18. They moved out to Nevada, and I did not go because I had to figure life out. That makes it sound, Dwayne, that makes it sound like you went off to work one morning, or you went to school one morning and you came back and they had left you, and you went, wait a minute, where did you all go? That can't be right. It couldn't have happened that way, could it? They were just ready for a different stage in life. Because you had the knowledge and the ability to get by, you could. So let's look at the bright side of it. Bluey Mom. My family and I don't talk anymore. I now have my husband and 2 girls. Just had a second daughter back in October. There you go. Now that sounds like a good... First of all, Bluey Mom, I'm going to say you went fishing and they were gone. I hope you're able to reach back out or get some semblance of your family back. My family, my mother and I have a fine relationship. We never had a bad relationship. My father and I, or more than that, my father and my brother, who's slightly older than I, are no longer on speaking terms, and it kind of hurts me to see that. I told them I will visit them both if I can. I will talk to them both. I don't hold anything against either of them. And quite honestly, I don't really even know what the issue is, and I don't want to know. It's not my. I know people get upset when I say this. It's not my deal to know. That's for them to know and for them to work out. It's for me to accept that that's the situation they want to be in. Whether I like it or not, which I don't. But I purposely try to do more things with my father. My father and my brother are very similar in that they're just like, when I'm done with it, I'm done with it, and they're just not going to look back in anything like that. Dwayne says, you lost sound and now you're back. So that's weird. Something's going on with my computer. I was watching, so over here on my monitor is my OBS, the control center, and I'm looking at that, and I can see what is being sent. Over here is YouTube and Twitch, and I can see what the signal is they're receiving, and what's receiving is different than what is being sent. It's weird. Let's see. Bluey Mom says, I have 2 sisters that I was very close to until my parents got into drama with me. I hate drama. Why do people have to be people? Why are we all like that? I don't know. And the federal agent is here. Hey, everyone, barely made it. Baby was fighting sleep time. This federal agent has a 0-year-old in the house. And needs to, the federal agent himself needs to get a little sleep whenever he can. Okay, Kenya, I got a background on here. It's not brilliant. It is desert-y. There's not much detail here. I think when you put a shadow underneath this guy, we're going to put a shadow underneath him. It's not going to matter all that much. You're not even going to look at the background. You're just going to go, there's a background there and be done with it and whatnot. But in having put a background on there, he does look like he's running through space through a space at this, not running through space. Obviously he's not. Oh, maybe we should do that now. Maybe we should put a space helmet on. Now I'm really out of control. Let's give a bit of a highlight here. Do we need a highlight on the tank? I don't think I'll get one on the tank. Let's give a highlight here. I'm just looking for a couple of things to do while I'm waiting for the foreground to dry here. You know what? Let's give him a little highlight on his toenails here. How about that? There we go. But while I'm waiting for that to dry, we're going to put on a shadow underneath him. I think, This may not be the best technical painting I've ever done. And that's okay. I don't think it matters. Because I think it's turned out quite nice and quite funny. And I rather like this. You know what I do want to do? Now that I'm thinking about it, I do want to see if I can put I was going to say, I want to put a bit of a shadow on this leg, like a dark line. And now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know if we're going to gain anything by that. Maybe we're not going to gain anything by that. Bluey Mom says, hi, Pharaoh, my daughter's breastfeeding. Now, Pharaoh Legend says, the classic 4-month regression, all part of the game of life. Her smiles and giggles make up for it. There you go. And she's a super baby anyways. Even when she's fussy, she's not that fussy. Even when she's fussy, she's not that fussy. Let's see if we can't. It's still a little damp, and it's probably just about right. Ooh, that's way too dark. Let's water that down a bit more. See if we can't get a nice bit of shadow underneath here. See what I mean? Now that bird is, doing something, moving, really running. That shadow's going along with. Shoo, let's just move that right on along the page there. There you go. I like it. I like it. Federal Agent says, nice, Bluey. Such a cool bonding experience. My wife loved it, but the latch was not working out. Yeah. Exclusively pumping. Yeah. Let me pull this down. So, before I sign this and we call this one good, a couple of things to go over here. Well, actually, I'm not done. I was going to say we're done, but we're not done. We've got, give me a little bit of blue here. Let me make a little bit of a gray. So I've got some burnt umber. I've got a little bit of ultramarine. Those two together make a nice gray, and you can make it as warm or as cold as you want. I want to make it a little warmer on the warm side. Now, Kenya, if you're still here, I said, I'm not using blue on this, and I just used blue. That's on me. I just look at this, and I thought we needed a little to darken this up a little bit. That's going to be the quickest, easiest way to do that. It is a little cheating. The color doesn't exactly fit the rest of the colors, but it's such a small area. I don't think it's going to matter too much. I think it'll totally be fine. That to me looks a little bit, it's not night and day better, but I think it's better. What else do I need to do? I'm looking up at his head. I like his head. I love his goggles up there. Look at that. He's doing good. I like the tank, right? If this were earlier in the game, I tried to darken up around the tank so it looked like it had some 3D-ness to it. I think I didn't do it enough. At the time I put it on, I was like, oh, that's going to be plenty. I don't want to go back over it because I fear that red will smear if I go and put a glaze over top of it. A couple of other things we could do. Right, we could make the shadow under here darker, and could make the shadow on this leg darker. Don't know that I need to. The light part here is an indication that this is all in shadow, and the light parts here indicate that this is all in shadow. So I'm kind of okay with just leaving it kind of be and not messing with it too much. Let's see. Bluey says, will I be live tomorrow? I will not. I stream every Wednesday here on YouTube and on Twitch on Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock Pacific. Bluey, I'm not sure where in the country or where in the world actually you are located. I am located in California, so all my times are Pacific Standard Time. I go on at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time every Wednesday. I tried to do a stream on Twitch on Saturday or Sunday. I haven't made it for the past few weekends just because I have other stuff going on and life gets in the way. But I'm committed to this Wednesday, so I will be back here next Wednesday. If you can join us, that'd be awesome. Would love to see you back here. Federal agents has really turned out nice. This thing is street legal. I'm not sure this would be street legal. I'm going to sign it here. There we go. Dwayne says, very cool, Michael. Thank you all. I think that's about all I'm going to do with this guy today. I think going forward, if I were to do this again, I would do this slightly differently. And what do we do different? And it's not bad because it portrays exactly what I want it to portray right now. But I think what I would do is I would do this engine compartment a little differently. I put my initial layer on, and then I'd do a big broad wash on a second layer, and then I would start with the details on the third layer instead of starting the details on the second layer. Kenya says, yeah, this is really great. I like the engine and the background, of course. Of course. Let's see. What else would I do? I'm not wild about this leg, specifically this foot. I'm not sure what to do. All things considered, I'm not exactly sure what to do with this foot. I don't think it matters that much because when you look at it, when I look at it here, I don't know how much comes across on the screen that you're looking at. It definitely looks like those toes are curled up behind it. I'm trying to do curled up somewhere where you can see it. So it doesn't have to have the detail that this is, and that's. Even though it's the foreleg, it's back there quite a bit. And this is the one you really want to have the detail on. And we've got the detail on this one. And quite honestly, if anybody looks at the feet on this, they're looking at the wrong thing anyway. You're going to look at this, you're going to look at the engine, and you're going to look at his head, and you're going to laugh, or you're going to smile, or it's going to evoke some sort of reaction. And that's all I really want to do out of these. When I look at this to giggle, I want whoever looks at this in my office to giggle, and I think we've accomplished that by doing some, decent watercolor painting. And with that, I am going to say thank you all for joining me to help make my Wednesday evening a fantastic Wednesday evening. I hope you all had a good time. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening and a great rest of your week. And most of all, I hope you're able to join me back here again in the studio next Wednesday when we do this all over again. Until then, thank you. Bye-bye.